How you doing? This is Coach DiCarlo. Hey, just want to talk about something briefly. There's a lot of questions about, comments that I may post out there, but let me start by saying this. Listen, love Neville Goddard. And the reason why we call the group Neville Goddard the Next Generation, my hope and desire for each and every one of you is that you take the principles, the teachings of Neville, and you learn from them and you grow. But as you grow and outgrow, what you're going to find is that some of your experiences are going to differ from Neville. And even as a teacher of the principles of Neville, I have experiences that were unlike Neville's and some that mirrored his fairly close. So what am I saying to you? As a creator, the goal for any of us shouldn't be to just duplicate or follow a teacher without experiencing the experience for ourselves. And a lot of times those experiences are going to sound contrary often to the person that we may be teaching. But as Neville, the only thing that I can teach is my experience. So if I have an experience or if I have an opinion because of an experience that differs, I'm going to share that. Now, what you do with that information, that's up to you. And if you're a Neville purist and everything has to be exactly as Neville stated it happened for him, then that's fine. And you may question if this is the appropriate group for you. That's fine also. My desire for you is not to be a clone of Neville, but discover through the principles of Neville who it is that God's creating you to be. And of course, as you're discovering through the principles of Neville, you're not going to stop at Neville's. You're going to probably study some Joseph Murphy or various other teachers, and you're going to come into your own. And as coming into your own, you may teach even the principles of Neville or some other teacher, but teach them from what it is that you've experienced. If the goal is to listen to myself and me to only regurgitate Neville, then this is not the group for you. But what I will do is take what's been given to me and what has been shared with me through Spirit, Neville, his teachings, and even, inner conversations, and I share those experiences with you. But like I said, my goal is not to be, per se, a Neville clone. My goal is to teach the principles of Neville and what's being revealed to me. And that's probably my biggest frustration when I looked at Scripture was that, many of us are teaching Scriptures from 2,000 years, but none of us are taking what we've learned and moving beyond what we've learned 2,000 years. That's what I loved about Neville. I love that Neville took from his teacher Abdullah, and he took from the hundreds of other teachers that he learned from, and he personalized it, and he made it his own. He also taught you things that work for some of his students. So likewise, I take, of course, the teachings of Neville, and I make them my own. And so, of course, my experiences are not going to always mirror Neville's. My opinion is not going to always mirror Neville's. And if that's a problem for you as a listener, then maybe this isn't the group for you. That's just simple and plain. But if your goal is to grow, if you're looking at growing and outgrowing, if you're looking at discovering for yourself the principles and what works for you, then this is the group for you. My goal for you is your individual growth and coming into your relationship with what we know as God. And I know that that was Neville's goal for each of his students. Not that they become worshipers of Neville and just solely look at Neville principles and live their life according to the principles of Neville, but to learn from the principles of Neville and then outgrow. And this is the sign of a great student. Student takes on what's taught to him, her, by their teacher, then they outgrow, and then their own experience becomes real to them, and they begin teaching, as Neville did, from his own experience. And he would often remind you, I'm not just talking theory. I'm teaching from my own experience. And likewise, creators, I'm not just talking to you theory. Most of the stuff that I'm telling you either has been experienced by me or to someone else I know. And of course, many of those things line up with the teachings of Neville. Sometimes Neville and I may bump heads, but you know what? Sometimes me and Scripture bumps heads. I don't agree with everything I read in the Bible. I don't agree with anything that anyone tells me without testing it and experiencing it for myself. So once I have the experience, I say, well, this was my experience. And it may vary or differ from the person that gave me the teachings on how to manifest the experience. My desire for you is that you likewise discover what works for you. Neville, as much as we love Neville, doesn't work for everyone. There's people that love the teachings of Neville, but they're finding that they're running into roadblocks. When that happens, I like to give people some other alternatives to see if maybe these other things can work for them. But you don't have to take what I say. You do whatever works for you. As a creator, your journey is your journey, and my journey is my journey. So you have to discover what works for you. And if that means being, let's call it a Neville purist, and the only thing you do is take the teachings of Neville, and that's the only thing that you do, and you try to live that out, then that's fine. But for the person who's looking at growth, who's looking at taking his or her life to the next level and taking what it is that Neville's taught or other teachers have taught, it's all a first-hand experience. So no matter what any teacher tells you, until you begin experiencing these things for yourself, it's all secondhand. And a lot of times, most people that you're listening to, they're only teaching secondhand experience. They're not teaching because of something that they've lived out, something they've experienced. They're primarily regurgitating the teachings of other teachers, and they say, well, it works like this. But if you look at their lives are not mirroring or duplicating or manifesting what it is that they're promising you. They're not telling you about the chaos that they're experiencing in their life. They're not telling you about the broken relationship, the heartaches. I'm going to be real with you. Because, see, that's the only thing that I can be. And if I'm real with you on my journey and what's going on in my journey, then you can say, well, it's not a strange thing, the things that I'm going through. A lot of times, as students, we listen to all these great, awesome teachers, and they give us the impression that nothing's wrong in their life. So we wonder, what the heck is going on with my life, that my life is so messed up, and these other people are living these miraculous lives with no problems. That's not how life works. Whether the teacher's telling you about their problems or not, everybody has them. And I don't want you to think it's strange that you're going through something and you're the only one. You're not the only one. The things that you go through, we all go through. We just handle it differently. Now, the thing is you beginning to control your thinking. Now, don't think it a strange thing. The thing that I hate most is I don't want us to be victims. And I don't want us to have the mindset of victim mentality that I can't change anything, because you can change. And you're the only one who can change it. But you have to start with your thoughts, creator. That's my message day in and day out. Look to your thoughts, creator. If you're experiencing a bad relationship, my thing is, don't say, how did I manifest this, and stay in it. Ask how I manifest it and get out of it if it's not serving you, if it's not beneficial to you, because you're given to choose that relationship, good, bad, or indifferent. Don't throw your hands up because you ran into a bad relationship and said, okay, I've manifested this and I'm going to give up on people. There's some good people as well as bad people. We manifest them all. But if we manifest somebody negative, then what we need to do is see about what thoughts do I need to think, what state do I need to be in so that I can remove this person from my life. Don't sit there and try to remake the person. I know that there's people that are going to tell you, just wait it out. You can wait it out and you can go about it that way, or you can make a decision. But don't be a victim. We're not called to victimhood. We're called to have dominion over this life that we've been given, and that's each and every one of us. God, whatever you call infinite intelligence, is no respecter of person. What he's done through a Neville, a Jesus, a Buddha, whomever, what he's done through any of these greats, he can do and desires to do through you. So what am I saying? I'm saying just be mindful of what it is that you're giving your attention to. But if you give your attention to something and you manifest something that you don't desire in your life, change it. Don't feel like you have to be a victim to that thing. I will often tell you, no matter what it is you're doing, whatever it is you want to manifest, you have to be in the state to manifest that thing. Neville calls that living in the end. We're totally in agreement. And until you occupy that state, you're going to continue to live out the life that you've led. The only way that you can change that is change your state. Now, changing one's state is a very scary thing because ego has got us so conditioned into what we already know. And like I said, many of us would rather stay in the discomfort of the known than to move out into the discomfort of possible abundance. And that's with relationships, that's with money, that's with health. We can know that we have cancer and we won't change anything about our lives. We'll stay on the same path knowing that it's destructive because we're familiar with it. So what am I saying? I'm saying as a creator, you choose the life that you're going to lead. And if it's a bad relationship, you have the choice to get out of it. Don't let anybody make you feel like you're a victim and you got to stay in it because you've manifested it. Manifest something new. You're given to do that. I've manifested, people that have been erroneous, who have taken money from me. You know what I did? I manifested somebody new. I took an eraser, erased them out of my life, and I manifested something new. You can do likewise. You're given to choose. But listen, this is your experience. If the teachings of Neville benefit you and they work for you, then you continue to occupy them. But if you find that I've been practicing this and it's not working for me, try something new. I don't know what that looks like to any of you. I can only tell you what works for me. And you can choose to do those things, or you can try something altogether new. It's given to you to choose this day whom you will serve, who you will give your attention to. And this is for each and every one of us. This is not Neville's journey. This is not Dr. Joseph Murphy's journey. This is your journey. And it's not going to look like Neville's journey. It's not going to look like Dr. Joseph Murphy's journey. Neville has given us some great and wonderful tools. Dr. Silva of the Silver Mind Method has given us some great and outstanding tools. Joseph Murphy has given us some great and outstanding tools. You take the tools that's been given to you and you see what works for you. You may find that one teacher's tools don't work as effectively for you. You got to discover what works best for you, creator. And my goal in this, anything that I do, is helping each and every person discover what works for them and them to begin living from that truth. And their truth is not going to always look like my truth, and that's okay. The only thing that I can tell anyone is to do you. And whatever that looks like, so whether it looks like the teachings of Neville, that is the focus of this group. Now, like I said, just because it's the focus doesn't mean that I don't have an opinion outside Neville. If you have a problem with me having an opinion outside Neville, this is not the group for you. Because DiCarlo, first and foremost, is going to teach DiCarlo in his experience. Many of them line up with Neville's tooth and nail. Some of them don't. And if that's a problem for you, you need to find a group that regurgitates only Neville, and it's a Neville purist, and go there and just stay where you're at. But if your goal is growth, you're in the right place, because I'm going to give you some tools. And going through the process, I try to do my best to be lovingly in the process, because I know that all of us are not on the same journey. So be patient with me as I'm patient with you and as we grow together. But if your goal is growth, you're in the right place. If your goal is solely just to mimic, duplicate solely Neville and nothing else, and you want to just stay on that path, this is probably not the group for you, and that's okay. But if you want to grow in the teachings of Neville and other great teachers and discover your path, stick around as we grow together. This is Coach DiCarlo saying have a great and abundant day.